And I think we're live. Okay, and we are live. All right. Welcome, everyone. Unreal Engine 5 dropped. Again, let me know if my volume is too low or too quiet, whatever. Let me know in the chat if that's too bad. I'll fix it. Still new to streaming. Yeah, so Unreal Engine 5 dropped tonight. That was news. I've been talking to a lot of people in the industry, and I had no idea this was dropping today. This is as much of a surprise to me as it is for all of you, even though, I've been pretty in the loop with all the Unreal Engine developments, and this is exciting. This is pretty awesome. So, I managed to get this installed. It took a long time. Getting the entire world downloaded takes over like 150 gigs. It's 100 gigs alone just for the environment, and then it's like another 38 or 40 gigs for the engine itself. I'm running really low on disk space right now. So, you guys want to see the good stuff? Let's get started. So, when you launch Unreal Engine 5 for the first time, this is what you see right here. So, to run the demo, you'll need the following specs. A GTX 1080 is recommended, and 32 gigs of system RAM. Now, recommended specs for 30 FPS is a 12-core CPU, an RTX 2080. Who the heck still has like a 2080 nowadays? Like, I can't afford a 2080. I'm running on a 2060. And 64 gigs of system RAM. So, Nanite is only supported by NVIDIA Maxwell generation GPUs. And on lower system spec, you can adjust the viewport screen percentage setting to get better performance. So on a minimum spec, we recommend 50% or lower. So we can probably tweak that later. So you guys want to see the environment. So let's load this up. Yeah, 64 gigs of RAM for this seems like a lot. I don't think I've ever needed 64 gigs of RAM for a game engine before. This is insane. Come on. These levels are so big. It's insane. It's, yeah. Thanks, Megascan, for making this whole level 100 gigabytes. Come on. You got this. So for those of you who are unaware, you can get the Unreal Engine 5 beta, or whatever this is, on the Epic launcher. Okay, so on the Epic Marketplace, there's going to be a UE5 tab that you can open up. You can download it from there. It's accessible to everyone, and then you also need to download the Ancient World level, which, like I said, is 100 gigabytes. It's so heavy. So yeah, as you can see, it's taking a while to load. I don't need to package it, just so you guys are aware. You don't need to package anything. It's available on the Epic launcher, just so you know. Pro tip. Oh, come on. Yeah, so for the record, I'm kind of in between the minimum specs and the recommended specs. I don't have an RTX 2080. I'm running on a 2060 Super with a 8-core CPU. So, it's not... I can't run this at 30 FPS. It's running at about 20-ish, anywhere between 5 frames per second and 20 FPS. Oh yeah, and compiling shaders also takes forever, as always. So come on, almost there, almost there. There we go. Come on, we're getting there. Is the download broken? Holy crap, I guess I'm lucky that I downloaded it when I had the chance. So, I played around with this earlier, so I may have busted some of the loads here. So I'm going to zoom in right here, and I'm going to load these things here, load selected cells. Everything is kind of different. It feels real weird. So why is this not there? That's very strange. That's very annoying. But yeah, as you can see, this level is huge. We've got a ton of detail. Moving around the engine here, let's turn on the frame rate. I'm running at about 28, 29 FPS. Oh, I'm about 30 FPS right now. Running on a 2060 Super and streaming at the same time. So with those of you who don't have top-of-the-line PCs, there's still hope, all right? So this is looking pretty damn dope. So I'm assuming all the typical shortcuts for moving the lights work. So I'm going to move around. Oh, and it does. So Control L works the same way it does in Unreal Engine 4. And I got to say, Lumen is awesome. Holy crap. I'm loving this GI. This global illumination, all this indirect lighting looks completely fantastic. I have no word. The level of detail that's here is... this looks really good. This feels really good. All this gnarly, like, pebbles and rocks just feels so awesome. And, of course, all the lighting is totally dynamic, right? So if you want a harsh midday lighting, I mean, this looks pretty awesome. I'm going to go for more of a sun. It's kind of an Unreal Engine 4.26 on steroids. Everything is kind of the same as 4.26. All the tools are the same. Obviously, Nanite and Lumen are new, but everything else is kind of the same. So, you know, the skyline, just for example, I'm going to go to the outliner here, and I'm going to, come on, move over. I'm going to search for skylight. The skylight here behaved very much the same way as it did in 4.26. Come on, where's the search panel? There's so much new windows here that it's almost confusing. So scrolling down, looking at the light parameters of our skylight right here, we've got, you know, real-time capture is turned on. We've got source type, you know, SLS captured scene or SLS specified cube map. These are all the same settings that we had in 4.26. Sky distance thresholds, cube map resolution. All these settings are really exactly the same. But now we have a few new tabs, like a health setting for, you know, some ray tracing stuff, some atmosphere and cloud. This is actually a new tab here. This wasn't there before. So, yeah. For those of you wondering for my specs, again, I've got an RTX 2060 Super, I've got 64 gigs of RAM, and I'm using a Ryzen 7 3700X. So it's an 8-core CPU. It's not a bad CPU by any means, but it's also not, you know, it's not a Threadripper. It's not like those insanely expensive ones. So, you know, I'm running this on moderately decent specs and running at about, as you can see, 27 or 28, 30 FPS depending on where I'm looking at. And this feels good, guys. This feels really, really nice. Where are those volumetric clouds? Yes. I want to move up there and see how... Oh, these feel good. Oh, yeah. These clouds look good. And this level is pretty big, so I obviously haven't loaded the entire level now because I don't want to, you know, melt my CPU or my GPU. But these clouds look pretty awesome. I can totally imagine typical drone shots, drone cinematic. Oh, God, this runs good. And if you guys want to see the sheer amount of polygons that there are here, let's go ahead and look right here. There should be some Nanite visualization. I'm going to go to Overview, and let's take a look at these triangles here. This is nuts. The sheer amount of polygons that are running right now is pretty bonkers. So in the overview, we have a whole new tab here called Nanite Visualization, and I'm just going to go to Triangles, and yeah, there's a lot of polygons happening right now. So obviously, guys, I am totally in the dark as to all the new features here. I've never used Lumen before. I've never used Nanite before. I don't actually know how any of this works. So this live stream is really going to be all about me dicking around and playing with the new tools and having a little bit of fun. So don't expect this to be a course type of thing because I don't know anything about the engine now. But from what I can gather, everything here just seems to run pretty good performance-wise. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go play the game right here. I'm going to hit play up top, and I apologize if the stream just like dies because this is pretty straining on my GPU. And no, I don't think there's going to be any displacement anymore. Who needs displacement when we have, you know, polys? So, okay, let's see now. Okay, this is pretty cool. Ah, there's so much gnarly detail in the rocks. This feels really nice. Whoa. So for the record, I'm playing the game right now. This feels a little bit weird, the camera controls here. But there's no denying that the level of detail you can achieve here is just amazing. Hit X to return. I'll see what I can do and play with reflections a little bit later soon there. But now I'm just going to focus on moving around. My God, the detail is good. And not too bad considering I'm running at 35 FPS and streaming at the same time. This is pretty good. So this transition may take a while to finish. If this is your first time entering the dark world in the editor, hang tight, assets are being processed in the background, and will fade back when complete. So yeah, I have to wait a bit. Not sure how long this is going to take. I'm not sure that baked lighting is going to be a thing in here anymore. I think all the lighting is completely dynamic. Hopefully that we don't need a baked light anymore, because that was annoying. All the GI is completely dynamic. Everything we've seen so far is 100% dynamic lighting, and I'm just really impressed with the quality of the indirect lighting here. It's obviously not this, but from what we've seen just a few minutes ago, this is a total game changer. Now, obviously, like I said, this really feels to me like less like Unreal Engine 5 and more of like an Unreal Engine 4.26 on steroids. New UI, obviously, like I said, Nanite and Lumen are new. But, damn. Come on. Load up. I'm loving this frame rate. 0.5 FPS. This is awesome. There we go. Oh, boy, this looks good. And again, this is totally in editor. I'm running this at like 40 plus FPS. This guy looks amazing. I mean, are those clouds moving? I don't think this is a fully dynamic sky. I think this is some kind of like animated HDRI, but man, I don't know how they achieved that sky, but this sky looks really good. Wow. And yes, the UE5 demo is available to the public. You can download it on the Epic launcher. Apparently, there's some issue downloading it now, but I got my hands on it early. Maybe I got lucky. Man, I can't believe I'm playing this on a RTX 2060 Super. This is running much better than I thought it would. I was fearing the worst. I was afraid that if I downloaded this, I would probably kill my GPU, but it's running at, 30, almost 40 FPS. How does oh man, this lighting is cool. There we go. So going right here, my frame rate is going to drop. So I apologize in advance if the frame rate is not going to be awesome, because with this and streaming at the same time, yeah, the frame rate's gonna suck. And this part here is where the frame rate's gonna drop. Wait for it. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. Yeah, my RAM right now, I have 64 gigs of RAM, so that does help. Now what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to shoot this guy? Ah! Oh, maybe I have to shoot this little thing up there. Okay, and once in the face. Oh, thanks so much, Jakob. I really appreciate that. You're the best. Yeah, I'm also curious to see how Lumen works with foliage and stuff, because from what I've seen so far, we have rocks. It's just rock environment. Everything we've seen in the Unreal Engine 5 demo from last year, and now it's all rocky environments. And let's face it, rocks are easy to light. Rocks are easy to do lighting with. The GI works well in that, but I want to see how this works with reflections, clean surfaces, and foliage. I think everyone kind of wants to know about that. And no, I am not a gaming person at all, so I don't even know what to do here. I haven't played games in a long time. Who still had time to play video games? Man. I wish I had time to play games. Okay, so cool. I mean, this was fun. Now what? I think that's the end of the demo. I could be wrong, but this looked really cool. Let's get out of this for now, and let's go back to the world. Okay, where are we? Okay. I want to go back to that dark world, because that looked really cool. So I'm going to go to data layers up here, and I'm going to select, uncheck this, don't save, and I'm going to enable dark world. So if you guys want to toggle between like this world and the dark world, which was the other one that we just saw, you kind of go to data layers tab up here. And there we go. Now we've got the dark world. Whoa. Fast camera. And a lot of things may be unloaded. Now, I'm very unfamiliar with the whole map loading system that they have going on now, so I'm not entirely sure how everything is supposed to work, but this is what I wanted to figure out. It's really cool that you can it's kind of like for anyone who's used Udemy before, the map system is like, it's kind of like a Udemy system where you can just play around and load some chunks of the map and unload chunks of the map, which is really awesome. And here, let's see these clouds. I want to see if, okay, so the lighting system doesn't work here. I'm going to go to my outliner. Let's close this. All right, so we've got Sky Dome. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this sky here is not dynamic clouds. It's a sky dome, as you can see. So I'm going to see what I can do. Open that material up maybe and see how this looks. Rendering, lighting. No. It seems to be some kind of blueprint. There we go. Okay, wow. I'm a total noob at this thing. So now, distortion strength. Wow, I have no idea what I'm doing. Sky texture. There we go. Whoa, cool. Interesting. I really like what they did here. Desaturation, change it. Wow, okay. Brightness of the sky. Okay, so yeah, it's really just some kind of clever material for the HDRI. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I was really hoping that the sky would be totally dynamic clouds. Unfortunately, it is not, so that kind of sucks. Let me read through the chat real quick. Yeah. Yeah, so this is pretty awesome. I'm a little bit relieved that things are not too different right now. It's like I said, this really feels like an Unreal Engine 4.26 on steroids with some new features. So I'm just gonna close this. Let's play with the lighting a little bit. Let's play with the light and see how these behave in the world. I want to see how Lumen works in places like, you know, dark caves and stuff. So if I search for light. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to move the outliner here because I want it bigger. Can I do that? There we go. What's really interesting is that by default, the content browser is not actually locked. It'll disappear by default. So I think if you undock it, Is it here? I think you can dock it and undock it. I can't remember how to do that. But by default, you have to press like Control and Space Bar to hide the content browser like this. I decided to dock it into my system because I just like having my content browser always there. But let's play around with these settings here now. Play with these lights. Wow, there's a lot of folders here, and one thing I don't like about the new UI is that it's hard to see what is hidden and what is not hidden. So if I decide to hide the lighting folders, okay, so everything kind of had the little close eye icon when they're hidden, but when they're visible, the eye icon disappears. I kind of wish those eye icons here were always visible. For my own sake, I just kind of like having that there at all times. So if I gonna go place a new light in here, I want to see lights. Gonna place a rect light or something. Okay. Man, this new UI is really screwing me over. Everything is just different enough to the point where I have no idea what I'm doing, and I feel like a total noob again. Okay, there we go, lights. Let's say 500, there we go. Some of these things are, wow. Okay. I kind of want to start lighting from scratch, to be honest. Just to see like how everything behaves, and delete this, delete that. And now there should be, okay, so we got a few other fog lights. Okay, I want everything to be totally black. I want to place my lighting myself from scratch. So I'm gonna delete, no shadow. Man, no, I guess. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna play the directional light from now on and just see how things look. Create. Man, when things just change color, when the UI changes like this, everything's kind of in the same place, but all the colors are different, and all the things that you kind of are used to looking at just change, and it's just hard to find your way around. There we go. Wow. Okay. And if I want to have a skylight in here, let's see how this behaves. Okay, real-time capture. I can put maybe a sky atmosphere in here. I'm going to delete the sky, and I'm going to put a sky atmosphere because I want my own sky. Even though that skybox was really cool, I just want to play around with these settings and see what the heck is happening. Put a sky atmosphere in here and go to my sunlight atmosphere. So as you can see, everything is kind of the same, right? Everything behaves the same way that it did in Unreal Engine 4. It just looks different. There we go. So now we got some GI happening here. Just some very subtle bounce light. Okay, so we got some bounce light coming in here, and I'm going to see if I can bump this up a bit more. What is this? Okay. Let's see, light. 2. Man, what is going on? It's like every time I change the light, the textures change too? That's weird. Yeah, you guys see that? Like, I'm changing the light, and this is, of course, this is totally a beta release, not production ready, but like every time I increase the intensity of the light, the textures totally change. Really weird. But there's no denying that the level of crisp... Wow, what is going on here? It just looks like it's the wrong... Whoa. That's very strange. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to the other level just because it's a little bit easier to see what's going on without all this fog going on here. So I'm going to go back to data layers, hide this, don't save, campfire geometry. Come on. There we go. And campfire replace, I guess. And yeah, I'm aware of the environment light mixer. I didn't use it because I just, you know, out of habit, I just create my life manually. Come on. Man, there is so much stuff in this outliner. It's a little bit insane. And yeah, I think Lumen is active by default. You don't. I haven't enabled anything at all. I might have made a mistake by clicking one of these things here by campfire replace. I'm not sure what's actually happening here. So, yeah, this is a learning experience. I'm making those mistakes now so that you don't have to. There we go. Come on. Come on. Oh boy. Woo! This is... There we go. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back. Now let's see now. And skylight. Okay, so now in theory, there we go. So as you can see, guys, this is, you know, no lumen when the sun is hidden. For those of you who want to see what lumen's doing, let's go ahead and lift the sky up. And now we've got a whole bunch of indirect lighting. It works out of the box, and I'm not gonna lie, lumen feels and it looks just stunning. And this map is huge. I don't even think I have the whole thing loaded. I only have like a small part of the map loaded up here. I don't dare load more of it because I'm afraid I'm just gonna fry everything. But that being said, like this indirect lighting feels good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a chrome ball because I want to see how ray trace reflections work. So I'm going to create shape, sphere. Whoops, let me do that. Shape, sphere, bring this in here, scale this up. And I'm going to go create a new material. Hopefully creating materials works the same way. Chrome. Maybe there already is a chrome material? Chrome? No, it's this one. So there's no material for chrome yet. So I'm going to create one here. Color there. Metallic and another one for roughness. Metallic, set this to a 1. And a value of, let's say, 0.8. Now save this. Man, I love the new UI, but I do miss the colors and the ease of finding the individual buttons of the previous UI in Unreal Engine 4. I'll probably get used to it because this is very new. So there we go. There we have reflections. Ray trace reflections. Things feel a little bit... I mean, it feels right. If I move this up here. Now, I think I need to create a post-process volume. I'm going to make this even bigger so I can see more clearly. I don't know if there's a post-process volume already. Post-process. There is a lot of post-process volumes. What in the world? This is one of those times where I don't really know what's going on. So I'm just going to... Okay, so there's evidently a lot of things here. Wow. What are these things? So these I'm guessing are decals. Seems to be decals. Yeah, these are decals. We can kind of see it moving here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So decals kind of seem to work the same way. That's great. But yeah, there's no denying that the frame rate is not awesome here. This is running, like I said many times, it's running on a 2060 Super, 64 gigs of RAM, and Ryzen 7 3700X. So I'm not using a super high-spec PC, but the frame rate, of course, is much heavier than it was in Unreal Engine 4. But, I mean, there's no denying that, like, the polygon count. If I go back to Nanite here, Nanite Visualizer, what was it here? Nanite Visualization, triangles. Yeah, there's a lot of polygons here. This is just insane. That's a lot of triangles. Damn. And no, guys, Lumen is not in a post-process volume. As you can see, all this indirect lighting that we're getting right here is all Lumen. It's all dynamic. If I move the sun here, move it straight up at like a total midday setting, we've got, you know, GI working correctly. I'm just going to try and find a cave or something here. Some kind of place where we can see, maybe something like this here. Move the lighting. Like there's no, this global illumination feels good. So Lumen works out of the box. There's nothing to enable. You really just download this map, you play it right away, and everything just kind of works. It's slow, but it works. Wow. I don't really know what these actors do either. These are actually the cloud mask object that I've used in my volumetric cloud tutorial that I released this week. But these clearly seem to behave very differently than they did in my tutorial this week. So if I move these, the clouds aren't moving. So something else is happening here. I'm not entirely sure what. And yeah, from what I've noticed, Lumen seems to work without RTX. Like you can load this with an RTX 1080. I don't think Lumen is ray traced. So that's great news for everyone who can't get their hands on a 2000 or 3000 series card. Man, this feels awesome. So I'm gonna create my chrome ball again. I forget where my sphere is. I'm gonna go find it. There we go. Here's the bad boy. So again, now this is the cave I was looking for. So we can very much visualize the global illumination here. And notice how we're getting some nice indirect lighting here. It takes a while for it to kick in, but once it's kicked in, it's totally dynamic. So we're getting that nice bounce light coming up from underneath, bouncing off the top here and hitting the side of the rocks. Lumen is dope. That's a good question. I don't know if Lumen actually works only on static meshes. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't have any skeletal mesh to work with right now. My guess is it probably will work on skeletal meshes too. But again, I'm really not sure. So I'm going to hide volumetric clouds here. See if I can hide this. There we go. Yeah, there we go. This feels a bit better. I want to... Oh man, what did I do? Okay, frame rate. There we go. I'm going to create a camera. And I want to... Cinecamera actor... Wow, there's a lot of cameras in here. Holy crap. What? Oh, lordy. Okay, so I want to play with the depth of field here, and I want to see how depth of field looks and works with this geo here. God, that detail looks good. Let's see now. Cine camera actor. I don't even know where my own cinema camera actor is. How do I... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to delete all the cameras because screw that. I don't have time to figure out which one's which. I'm going to create my own camera. I'm going to name this bad boy Will's Camera. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting more interest. There we go. Oh, man, this looks good. Okay, there we go. Now we're back to where we were. I want to see how depth of field plays with cameras like these. Yeah, apparently you guys can run Lumen and Nanite with like even a 900 series card. So if you have like a 970, 980, 1070, 1080, those are all going to work with Nanite and Lumen, which is amazing. I can't guarantee you're going to get 20 plus FPS. Performance is likely it's going to tank, but it's still nice. So I'm gonna... Wow, this looks weird. Those reflections look very strange, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and I want to move the depth of field Will's camera, and let's scroll back down. I'm going to set this down to 69. Good. DSLR. And move this focal point. There we go. I want to get real close. I want to see how the depth of field looks. So from what I can see, we're still getting some of those depth of field artifacts that we were getting in 426. You guys can notice, like, we kind of see these bad edges. Maybe there's like to still have the output log. Does r.temporal AA dot upsampling still work? Does that trick still work? No, okay, that doesn't do anything. So, okay, so good to know. Temporal upsampling 0. You don't need to enable that in Unreal Engine 5. That's good to know. So anyone who's watched my tutorials knows how annoying that console command has been to me. Okay, so depth of field is still not perfect. You can kind of see here we got these weird kind of halo artifacts around edges of foliage and stuff. This is probably going to maybe fixed in the full release. I'm not sure, but this is something I really wanted to push to the test. Come on. There we go. So, yeah, depth of field is not perfect. You can kind of see around here there it's a little bit finicky and a little bit weird. That's fine. It's not that big of an issue. There we go. Move this back over here. But man, there's no denying this feels pretty awesome. So I'm so used to the outliner being up here in the top right hand corner, and now that it's all over on the left, it's really screwing me over. Oh man, we're almost at 1,000 concurrent viewers. I don't think I've ever hit 1,000 before. This is exciting. Okay, wow. Now we just hit over 1,000. Speak of the devil. Damn. Well, welcome to everyone who's new here. Enjoy the ride. I make Unreal Engine tutorials. For those of you who don't know who I am, yeah, I'm Will. I make tutorials for Unreal Engine. Happy to have you. So again, we're just mostly dicking around here, screwing around in Unreal Engine 5 that just dropped today, and I'm playing around with the various settings to see what does what. So I want to try and bump it up the skylight settings here. These shadows feel a little bit dark. So obviously, it's like Unreal Engine 4, where if you crank up the skylight way too strong, it looks like trash. So setting it back down to 1 seems to be the way to go. And you'll notice like Lumen kind of slowly starts to work after you change values. So like if I set this to 10 again, right? You'll notice it takes a little while for Lumen to kick in. It's not an instant thing. It takes like, 5 or 10 seconds to really to settle into place. Obviously, this looks like trash. I'm going to set it back down to 1.5 or 1.3. And as you're going to see, it slowly starts to settle back down. It darkens up. It's a very slow thing. But once it's settled in, it's fine. So I'm not sure if that's because of my GPU that's so slow, or what. I'm not sure what causes that at all. Let's play around with the fog a little bit. There we go. So this fog doesn't seem too awesome to me. Scattering color. Oh, there we go. Why can't I? Okay, interesting. Okay, that's why. Let's see now. Volumetric fog. Whew. Man, changing settings is real slow. I do like the ripple. I'm not sure if you guys can see in the compression of the video, but yeah, there's like some kind of rippling heat haze in there, which looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this feels pretty cool. Volumetric. From documentation, the following materials with the following setting cannot be assigned to nanite meshes. Any blend mode besides opaque. This includes matte and translucent blend modes. That's interesting. Yes, Dio, this is still live. I'm still just kind of enjoying the ride, playing around with the new settings. Man, I'm sorry. I love indirect lighting like this. You guys can kind of see that warm bounce light illuminating the underside of these rocks. This is not baked. This is totally dynamic. So if I go ahead and kill the skylight, you'll see right away that all this soft global illumination just goes away. So I'm going to set this to visible. Oh, interesting. There we go. Effect world. Why is this not doing anything? So if I delete, oh, interesting. So the skylight's not what casting that. Oh, cool. Yeah, so this is as much a learning experience for me as it is for you guys. And I think I just killed the engine. There we go. The fact that Lumen takes a few seconds to kick in, it's a little bit misleading, because something you're not sure if you change the setting or something, and then like 5 seconds later it pops up. So if I hide my directional light, I'm gonna hide light. Whoa. Okay. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, Lumen takes care of all that indirect lighting. If I hide my main directional light and turn it back on, you'll see all the indirect lighting here kind of shows up into place. There's a way to control the indirect lighting, maybe. If I exaggerate those settings. So for those of you who are new here, Unreal Engine 5 so far, at least this build, is very similar to Unreal Engine 4. There's a few key differences, such as Nanite and, Lumen, but everything else, all the tools kind of behave the same way. All the settings and the lights are all the same as well. It feels very much at home. The UI is obviously different. All the colors are different, but everything else just kind of feels like, yeah, this is definitely still Unreal. So, yeah, I'm going to enable my skylight again because this looks bad without it. There we go. So you can see reflections are weird. Like, they're not very sharp. They're not crisp. And it's not because of my material. And that's because I'm going to have to check the post-process volume here. There's so many of them in this level. So many post-process volumes. What in the world? Jeez. Let's go take a look at the static meshes over here. I'm gonna exit this. Oh wait, was the reflection blurry because of my depth of field? No, it wasn't. Okay, so these reflections are just really blurry. Interesting. I'm gonna have to play around with some of the post-process volume, but man, look at this global illumination. This feels so good. I love this nice warm bounce we get here. So I'm going to hide my light again just to see what exactly, is that my skylight or... Yeah, no, that's only with a single light. One light, we get all this nice global illumination thanks to Lumen. This is insane. So in the stride, the reflection picks up HLOD depending on how far the object is. If you put your chrome ball next to the ground, the close rock will be high res as they are close by. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Like I said, this is totally as new to me as it is to you guys. It's really interesting that it picks up HLODs as a reflection, which means that it's not depending on ray tracing, which is good for those of you who don't have ray tracing cards. But ray trace reflections looked very good, so I really hope that they give us the option to choose at least. God. I'm not sure. Let me check the post-process volume and see if some of the ray tracing settings are marked as deprecated. So I'm going to create a volume, post-process volume, just to kind of see what's going on here. Whoops. Scale this up, maybe. Whoa. Controls are a tiny bit different than they were, so it's just... There we go. So I'm going to make this substantially bigger so that everything in this area is There we go. So if I search for ray tracing, I am really not sure what's going to happen here. Reflections, ray tracing inclusion. I'm not even sure if ray tracing is enabled in this project. I don't think it needs to be. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up one of the new levels. I'm going to go Megaskin Acid Zoo. I kind of want to see all the assets individually here and kind of have like a smaller scene to work with. Thanks so much, Kim Forsberg. Reflection option is in project setting, rendering, default to Lumen instead of ray tracing. That makes a lot of sense. So I didn't know that reflections was done through Lumen. That's pretty cool. So these are some of the new rock assets that we got. Some of these are just typical Quixel assets that we have on the marketplace. And some of these, I believe, are like the blueprints. Let me see. Okay, no, these are all static meshes. Okay. These are all scanned individual static meshes. Gosh, I love the global illumination here. This is really cool. These rocks I recognize. We have that. So for the record, guys, this is the project that I downloaded. Let me see if I can pick up Games Launcher. For those of you wondering where to get this, you'll notice if you launch the Epic Game Launcher, you'll see UE5 tab up here, right? So if you click on this, you'll be able to download the early access version. And if you scroll down, you can get the Valley of the Ancient level right here. So if you get the sample, okay, you'll be able to download this exterior level that we just had. And just be aware, it's 100 gigabytes. It's really heavy, so just keep that in mind if you're running low on disk space. I tried to install it on a separate drive. So I have two disks. I've got my main M.2 drive, and I've got a secondary SSD for storage. I tried to install it on the secondary storage, and it wouldn't let me. It seemed to need to have 100 gigabytes available on your main drive, even if you tell it to install on another drive. It might have been a bug on my end, but just keep that in mind that if that happens to you, you're not alone. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back to the other level. Ancient World. Yeah. Open this up again. Yeah, I know you can change where your vault is, but at least when it came to time to try and install the Ancient World, or not the Ancient World, but the Valley of the Ancients pack, it wouldn't let me install it where I wanted it to. So I'm not entirely sure why. There's probably an error on my part, but again, I just wanted to say that if it happens to you, you're not alone. And yeah, it very well could be the fact that my vault is on my main disk. So that's entirely possible. I just want to make you guys aware. Hey there, Peter. Nice to see you. Welcome here. Nice to have you. I'm not sure if movie render queue is going to be available here. Let me see if I can go to Window and then Cinematics. We do have movie render queue. So does this mean that maybe we can render out frames? I'm definitely going to be playing around with this eventually. So movie render queue worked on Unreal Engine 5. That's awesome. So for those of you who are new, the performance on this is okay. As you can see, it's 30 FPS. I'm running on a 2060 Super with 64 gigs of RAM and a decent, it's a Ryzen 3700X, so it's an 8-core CPU. It's not, amazing. It's not a crazy computer, but it's all right. So playing around here, I'm just going to play the game. For those of you who are new here, I'll play through the game one more time, because that was kind of fun. You know what? That's a good tip there, Paul Dyko. I will check after playing the game if the movie render queue still has the same render passes or new render passes. My guess is it's going to have the same setting that we had in 426, because like I said, Unreal Engine 5 right here, this build of UE5 is pretty much just 426 on steroids. God, I cannot get over just the level of detail that we have here. It's just so much gnarly, crispy, pebbly deets. It's just so good. So good. There we go. I'm going to return. I'm tired of this thing. And I got to move. There we go. You can kind of... There we go. I don't know if they'll allow for native anamorphic lenses. I'm really curious to see, you know, like this is just a beta build. They don't have all the new features, so they very well may allow for different, you know, types of depth of field, different types of bokeh anamorphic lenses. I would love to see like physically accurate lenses with proper film lens distortion and stuff. That would be amazing. I guess time will tell. Man, this looks just so awesome. I haven't played games in so long now, so this is probably, you know, an average looking game by this point. Especially, I don't have a PS5 or Xbox Series X or whatever they are called now. There we go. Go here. So for all of you who wanted to see the monster, it's this bad boy right here. Come on. I love all these, like, this kind of debris and stuff falling off the guy. This looks pretty awesome. So, I think I'm supposed to hit his shoulder here. There we go. Now I know what I'm supposed to do now. Oh, I forgot to get hit by the laser. I guess one of you guys asked to be hit by the laser. I guess I'll have to do it one more time. But I'm not entirely sure. I think this is just the end of the demo. I don't really know where to go after this, so... yeah, I don't think I can do anything more. But man, I just love this detail. I love seeing all these, you know, the specular breakup, all the little pebbles on the ground. Like this, it really feels awesome. Now, I'm going to exit the game, and I'm going to try looking for the other render passes in the movie render queue. For those of you who asked, movie render queue, I'm just going to add a random sequence here. Let's say this one, whatever. Go to, let's see. Ooh, debug options. So there's a few new features here. Deferred rendering, LED lighting. Deferred rendering. World depths, motion vectors, these are default ones. Let's see what else we've got. No, I don't think we have that many new render passes, unfortunately. Not that I can see here. Pipeline, no. Nope. No new render passes, guys. Sorry about that. Are there any other features you guys want me to test out now that we're here? You know, that we're back in the environment here. What are some of the features? Like, I know we've checked out reflections. We've figured out that, you know, they're HLOD based, so they're not ray trace reflections. We tried out Lumen. What are some other things you want me to test out here? I'm going to play around with Lumen, but just with one area light. That's one thing I want to do. So directional light, I'm going to hide this. this, and just like that, I'm going to place a rect light right here, and I don't know how this is going to behave if I... Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in 13's Colossi. I'm going to be testing GI with just some local lights, see how this behaves. Just some spotlights. So let's see how this works for, like, you know, quote-unquote interior lighting, because, you know, we're going to be inside of a cave, so this, I guess this kind of counts as an interior-ish. So it's a little bit hard to see. It's very dark in here. So let's see if we've got some indirect lighting settings in this light. Dynamic indirect lighting. So we still have the light mask tab. I don't know. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we've got some indirect lighting. So this is all this GI that we see here is totally dynamic. It's all done by Lumen. So I'm going to move this up to get a bit more of an extreme. It's like 500 or something. There we go. And now you can see we're getting a whole ton of indirect lighting with a single area light. One rect light. That's all we've got. So this, and it looks pretty darn good. Like, there's no noise. There's no, I don't know if you guys have used the ray traced indirect lighting with Final Gather or Brute Force. It feels very, what's the word? Very noisy and shimmery, but the indirect lighting here feels pretty solid. I mean, it's very clean. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by this. Man, I just cannot believe how good this feels. Lighting has never been easier. Let's see. And play once. This is not ray traced, I don't think, but it's totally dynamic. So, you know, again, if I move my light back down a little bit, let's see, where's the world? There we go. Moving this down here. You'll see all this indirect lighting that we have is completely dynamic. So if I move the light, you know, here away, there's no more indirect lighting. I move it here, we get all this indirect light. And you can totally control the settings and the indirect lighting settings of your light. So if I set it to 0, you'll see Lumen starts fading away. We don't have any more indirect lighting. But if I set the indirect lighting back up to 10, you'll see it start fading back in. So this looks pretty awesome. Caleb Harwell, do we still need to set up streaming volume for World Comp? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not familiar with this whole world partition thing. You know, you can kind of load and unload parts of the map. So, you know, let's give you, I'll show you guys an example. So let's move the camera here. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but you have a big map here. And we've got, you know, I can right click here and move the camera here. Now there's no light, so I'm going to unhide my directional light. Where is, there we go. So now I've moved all the way to this part of the map. I can kind of do this, highlight some parts, and oh, it seems like there's nothing I can load. Okay, so I'm going to move here instead and select all these, and I'm going to load the selected cells. Now, I'm not sure if there's anything to load here, but as you can see, now we've kind of gone across the map, and we can go across the map anywhere we want to. I can just right-click, move camera here, and it moves it. According to the minimap, I'm on the other side of the map now. So it's kind of a cool way to navigate. I kind of like it. So if I want to unload these chunks here, I can just right-click, unload selected cells, and boom, it just unloads those parts. Again, for the record, guys, I'm running on a 2060 Super with 64 gigs of RAM and an 8-core processor, Ryzen 7. The performance is obviously not awesome. I don't think this is super optimized, but keep in mind, I'm also streaming at the same time. Streaming video takes a big chunk out of my GPU processing power, so this is probably why. But man, indirect lighting is dope. So let me know, guys, if there's anything, what would you like me to try out here? What are some other features that, you know, you've been dying to know about? Let me know so I can test it out. For the record, anyone can download this. You can get it on the Epic Marketplace. It's free to download. You'll just keep in mind it's 40 gig install for the engine, plus 100 gigabytes to download this level that we have right here. Okay, check the material on the monster. My gosh, so many questions. Let's see. Water. That's actually not a bad tool. I don't know if the water is enabled here. Let me see. Visual effects. I don't think we've got water here. Maybe I'm blind and I'm missing something, but I'm pretty sure that water is not. No, I don't think we've got water, guys. So sorry about that. No water in this build. Okay, let's go see if I can find the monster. A lot of you guys are asking about the monster. Let's see if I can find that guy here. I'm not sure what it's called, though. Characters. Echo. No, this is just her. Where are the filters? Okay, filters are here. Okay, so let's see. Skeletal mesh. There we go. Okay, Ancient One process. So it's called Ancient One. So let's see. Let's try to find a material for that Ancient One. No, not this. Characters, Ancient One, materials. Okay. So we've got the material here for the robot, the big monster dude. For those of you who are wondering, this is really all it is. It's actually a very simple material. It's not very complicated at all. So I'm guessing it's got UDIMs. Not even. So this is just for the shell. Okay. Very simple material. Nothing complicated. Yeah. All right. Nope. This is nothing fancy. Let me see if I can filter by. Whoa, this is slow all of a sudden. Yeah, I think that's the only material I can find for the Ancient One, so that's interesting. Yeah, the Ancient One definitely has UDIMs, so for those of you wondering, like, I can only find this one material for the Ancient One. If I go here and try and find... Yeah, I can't find any other material for that guy. Obviously, I probably just don't know where to look, but... Oh, there he is. There you go. I got a blueprint right here. So, let's see. Viewports. We got him right here. Let's zoom in up close. Wow, we got a lot of flickering here. Let's see. I want to see this material. Yeah, so, okay. Chest plate. Ah, here they are. Here are all the materials. Here are all the parts. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, as you can see here, this this giant here is using UDIMs, which was, it's not really a big surprise. An asset of this size needs UDIMs. So we can tell it's got, it seems to have up to 22 UDIMs. Maybe not 22. No, it doesn't. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 UDIMs it's using. So opening up these textures here, I'm going to open one of these parts. So we can kind of, if you want to dissect or, kind of tear apart and reverse engineer the part of the giant, you can find them in, wow, okay. So in characters, meshes, and you'll find all the parts here. So ancient battle content, characters, ancient one, meshes, meshes. So I don't know why there's two meshes folder, but yeah. So if you're wondering where all the parts are, that's where it is. I can go to pelvis, for example. There we go. So we got more stuff here. Yeah. So unsurprisingly, it uses UDIMs. Let's open up this material just to get an idea of, there we go, it's a master material. Okay, so it's just got a master material and a ton of material instances. That's what it's doing. Not really surprised. Yeah, that's a good question. I should try out Translucency, but I don't think there's ray tracing here. So I'm just going to open up a simpler level just so we can try out the ray tracing. Not the ray tracing, but some of the other material features. That's a very good thing that we should test out. Let's see, content. Let's see, where is it? Maps, Ancient World, and Megascan. That's in Zoo. I'll try this one. And we're just going to play around with some materials and just dig around and see, like, hey, what's going on? How do we play with some of the ray trace, not the ray trace stuff, but the translucency. So I'm going to create a sphere. Shapes. Create a sphere right here. All right, and I'm going to create a new material. Let's see now. Okay, called translucent, I suppose. Oh, this is probably... So... the base color, opacity, and... let's see now. I'm going to leave that default lit, and I need to change one more thing here to volumetric surface forward shading. Apply. Yeah, I don't think translucency works very well right here. One, and opacity set it to 1. Okay, so yeah, this translucency, it looks like ass. Might need to change the roughness though. Yeah, yeah. So translucency, I'm not super excited about that. I might have to play the post-process volume though for this. Volumes, post-process volume. Set this to unbound. And type ray trace the translucency. That, yeah, I don't think ray tracing is enabled in this project, unfortunately. So we're not getting any good translucent materials. I think there's a reason why in this demo everything is rock. Everything is just stone. There's no water. There's no foliage. Yeah. Hazard Hefe. I think tessellation is deprecated because, as we can see now, I'm just going to open up the other levels again. And you'll notice that, no, I don't want to save that. Maps. You'll notice that polygons are really not an issue anymore. We have just trillions of polygons going on in the scene. Artem Belyakov, I do have an RTX 2060 Super. Ray tracing works fine in 426. In Unreal Engine 5, you can enable ray tracing, but in this particular ancient, in this particular map or this particular project I have here, ray tracing doesn't work. I don't think I have it enabled. Ryan Miller, no, this is not ray traced right now. So Lumen is, I don't believe Lumen is ray traced. But then again, don't take my word for this because I'm not like I'm not a rendering guru. I don't know much about what's happening under the hood here. But just to give you an example, the indirect lighting. Whoa, what's all this happening here? That looks weird. I think I'm starting to blow my VRAM here, so it's starting to freak out at the bottom. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, I may have to restart the engine soon, but I'm just going to go create another light here. Rect light, put this here. And I'm going to delete my directional light, or at least hide it. Again, I just want to show you guys the Lumen stuff again. Just to show you guys just how awesome Lumen is. So, as we can see here, we've got, turn on the speed of my camera. We've got a single light right here. Nothing is baked. You'll see, no, we don't really have much indirect lighting. But, if we go here and type indirect and bump up these values, now notice how we start getting some lighting in the cave here. So see? Now we have some lighting showing up in the cave. Totally indirect lighting, not ray traced, not that I know of. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But this looks awesome. I love just how totally dynamic this lighting is. This is a game changer. Look at that indirect lighting. It's so cool. I could play around with this for days, just because it's just so fun to play with. Lighting is basically cheating now. And performance-wise, I mean, this is running pretty good. I mean, relatively, for Unreal Engine 5 at least. I can have like 4 lights here just to kind of exaggerate the effect. I mean, the lights don't seem to affect performance all that much. Oh, speak of the devil. Okay, there we go. No, I'm still at 27, 28, 29 FPS right here, and things feel pretty good. I'm going to place a camera. What happens if I increase the radius of this? Yeah, no, I'm noticing like when I change values with the slider, my performance goes down to tubes. I'm going to trace this. There we go. That's what I wanted. Proper campfire. Let me add a skylight in here. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pie Shells. We got, unlimited polygons, good lighting. Now it's back to basics and trying to get water and translucency to look right. I'm really looking forward to seeing how foliage works in Unreal Engine 5 with Lumen and Nanite. This is going to be some pretty exciting stuff. Now, what I would love to have is better indirect lighting up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake that indirect lighting. I'm going to add a... what I can do, directional light maybe. Obviously, I want some light. Man, I think I need to restart this engine because I think my GPU is freaking out here. You can kind of see at the bottom. Yeah, looking at my specs here, it's I'm kind of pushing my GPU at its absolute limits. My VRAM is constantly just like capped at the top there. So RTX 2060 Super with a Ryzen 3700 8-core CPU, everything kind of just really pushed it to its hardest limits here. So I'm just gonna open up a new version of it and close down this. Skip restore. There we go. Okay, I'm going to open up the new world again. Yeah, I don't have any of the other stuff. I haven't loaded any other projects. I don't think I'm going to do that for this level, for this tutorial. I would like to play around with my interior scene before going live. Just loading up this level again, just to kind of give my graphics card a bit of a break. Come on. You got this. Simon Gervais, no, there's not many differences in how everything is called. Basically, everything feels very much like 426. Everything is very much identical to 426, actually. The only thing that's different is Lumen, obviously, Nanite, and the UI. Those are the main differences. Everything else behaves the exact same way. Like, all the skylight features are the same. Everything else is very much identical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this more of a daylight thing again. Where is my outliner? There we go. Jeez. Oh, that's a good idea, Sanketsura. I'm going to try and make an emissive material and see if that actually works with Lumen. Great tip. So I'm going to move this way down, something like this. Get a bit of detail in the sky. My skylight. Bump this up like go. Hit this. No. Go. Attenuation radius, something like that. There we go, something like that. And I want to. There we go. So we got a bit of a nighttime scene going on here. And now that's a great. I'm gonna try an emissive material. So I'm gonna create this here. Shapes, sphere. Drag this here. So let's create a material. Oh, not this one. Create a new one. Call this emissive test. Slap this onto our sphere. And whoa. Put this here, and let's say I'm gonna make this there. There you go. That emissive color. Let's say I gotta name this. Make it bright blue, something like that. Okay. Yeah, things do feel a little bit, quite a bit laggy in UE5 so far. Some of the things are not quite as snappy as 426, but I mean, that is to be expected. It's a beta. There we go. Save this. And I want to see these emissive materials contribute light to the scene. So, oh, no way. Did it actually... What? That's amazing. No. Okay, that is cool. Yeah, that's cool. So I gotta tone this down. I don't want it to be a little bit less saturated. Oh my god, I can't believe that the emissive materials actually emit light dynamically. That is cool. I have no words. That's just fantastic. Gonna change this to parameter and save. Excuse me. There we go. I need to make this smaller. Man, everything is kind of laggy. Phew. Come on. There we go. I want to make this window smaller. There we go. Now, I just cannot believe that dynamically... Whoa, lag. There we go. So dynamically, we've got materials, emissive materials, cast light, and GI, 100% dynamically. That's a game changer. Look at that. I'm going to move this thing right here, and you can see the sphere, the emissive material in the sphere emits light. That is amazing. I think this is probably the thing I'm the most excited about in Unreal Engine 5 so far. This will be Lumen in general. Lumen is just... Wow. I'm behaving like a 5-year-old on Christmas morning. This is so fantastic. I mean, I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this. This is pretty This is pretty great. Yeah. So if I make this change the color or something, oof. Yeah, performance goes really down to tubes once you start playing around with sliders and stuff. I don't know why. Hit OK. So it seems like, there we go. There we go. So Lumen takes a while to kind of kick in, but damn, that is cool. I need to find a model. Let me find a cooler shape and model and see if this works better. Static mesh. Let's see now. Or actually the giant. I want to find the giant ancient. Wow. Man, this is laggy. Ancient battle content. There we go. So I'm going to apply an emissive material to, let's say, this thing here. Oh, wait, what? That's not static mesh? You may only reference assets from engine content. Whoa, that's weird. I can't even... Huh. Okay, well, apparently I can't do that. Yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of getting some crazy, weird stuff happening at the bottom of my screen. This seems to happen when my graphics card is getting a little bit warm. And I don't blame it, because it's just been... I've been pushing it to its absolute limit for the past, hour and a half now. So, yeah, I think we've kind of covered all the stuff, the new stuff that's been in this engine. But yeah, just Lumen, the fact that we get some global illumination from emissive materials like this dynamically with no baking, this is huge. This is totally huge. Are there any other things that you guys want me to test out? I don't have any, static meshes or any high-res meshes to bring in right now. Actually, I could probably launch ZBrush and just kind of make something. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to launch ZBrush, and I'm going to try importing a super high-res static mesh and see how that works. Don't worry. ZBrush is just launching. Thanks so much, Abdallah Khatib. I didn't know that the Lumen settings were in the post-process volume. I'll have to check that out. However, yeah, there's just so many post-process volumes in that level that it's hard to... Cool, I think... Come on, ZBrush. I'm just trying to launch ZBrush here. Just do your thing. There we go. Let me just load... I'm just going to load up this dude. Bring him in. I'm just going to export this as the group. Export. I'm going to export this to desktop. And demo head, okay. There we go. Oh shit, do I still have this open? Don't save. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to import my demo head here. Let's see, desktop and demo head. Let's see now. So these are the new FBX import settings. So we've got build Nanite, which I'm guessing is what we want. So I'm going to click build Nanite. Yeah, I think that's all we need to do. So I'm just going to import this. And hopefully it works well. So obviously I don't know what the scale of this thing is. There we go. Now he's really, really tiny, so here's my demo head that I brought in from ZBrush. This feels a bit weird. Now there's no UVs on it, so... Huh. Yeah, he looks a little bit wrong. Probably because... Yeah, I need to experiment with this, so... Don't take my word for it. This obviously feels very bad. So I haven't experimented or read the documentation on how to import stuff for Nanite yet. Just, yeah. So, I think I'll play the game one more time for you guys before we take off tonight. And this time I'll try letting the laser from the monster at the end hit me. And yeah, for the record, guys, I am totally running on a 2000 series GPU right now. So it's interesting that the game actually keeps in mind the same lighting that I had in the level, which is pretty cool. There we go. So it's good play around. So this is, I just love that emissive materials cast light dynamically. That's just such a big deal. Oh boy, I'm excited. There we go. Just gonna go here and I'm gonna go fight this monster dude. And no, Ryan Miller, there's no water yet. As far as I'm concerned, water is not supported in this build of the engine yet, so just kind of keep that in mind. Caleb Harwell, does it actually run at 45 FPS on a 2080? That's actually much better than I thought it would be. Yes, Tyrol Mebedov, the GI from Emissive Material, was not screen spaced. It's Lumen, so it's pretty awesome. I can go check back again later. But yeah, the material was emitting light, totally awesome, fully dynamic GI, not screen spaced from what I can tell. Come on. Come on. It's taking a while. There we go. All right. So we're back here. I like that my head is still up there. That's amazing. I didn't expect the head to be there at all. That's funny. Okay, so where is this? There. Oh no. There we go, and now here's the big bad boy. I'm gonna turn on my frame rate. Oh, there's no frame rate there. Whoa. Lyman Abdullah, how long does it usually take to finish their project? That's a very good question. I think it depends on the project. Some months, sometimes it can take a month, sometimes it can take 3 months, sometimes it can take a week, a day. It really depends on the project. It's there's no real answer to that question. Sorry. Okay. So this time around, I can let myself get hit by the laser. Oh, play. Oh, so it automatically dodges? Really? I can't get hit by the laser, but I wanna. Come on. Come on. Hit me. Hit me. Really? I guess I can't get killed, so. There we go, and now, last blast in the head. This guy looks so cool. I love the design of this guy. And that's it. Wow, there's lots of weird... I can't tell if that rainbow flickeriness is that intentional or is that my GPU panicking. It might be intentional. But that looks really cool. I love that rainbow glitter effect. That looks awesome. I really hope it's not my GPU panicking. So for those of you asking if the emissive material here was screen space, I don't think it is. So looking here, there we go. Now it kicks in, and now you'll see the light's still there. It's not screen space. So again, this is totally a totally emissive material, and I'm gonna apply it to my head here. So mesh lights with, come on, there we go. Mesh lights with totally dynamic lighting works now. So you'll see now my head here is emitting light. Come on, Lumen takes a while to update, but once it does, you'll see now. Notice how now my head here is emitting actual light. Now I'm not sure why it's not as bright as the other sphere was, but say 200 maybe. There we go. So you'll see it actually emits light than you're seeing. I'm just gonna put it back on a sphere here because the sphere was just much brighter. And my PC is freaking out. There we go. So for those of you who just joined, you'll see now that this sphere with an emissive material on it casts light in your scene totally dynamically. It's not screen space. So if I look away, you'll see it's still there. I think this to me is probably one of the most exciting features. Now, why it disappeared with distance, it's probably a post-processing effect setting that I can change. And again, I'll be easy on it. I'm not going to criticize it too much because this is totally a beta build. So, yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. I think we just hit a new record for the sheer amount of people watching. I don't think we've ever crossed over to 1,100 concurrent viewers. This is huge. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that this has been a kind of a first glance at Unreal Engine 5. This is really exciting. Obviously, it's very, very beta right now. But for those of you who want to test it out, you can get it for free at the Epic Marketplace. So if I go type here, Epic Games Launcher, you can find it on the Epic Games Launcher. There's a new tab up here called UE5. Click on that and you can download it right there. So go ahead and download this, and you have to download the Valley of the Ancient map, but keep in mind that is 100 gigabytes. So it's a huge, huge file. Make sure you have enough disk space. And go knock yourself out. It feels very much at home. All the settings are the same in Unreal Engine 5. So if you're familiar with, all the lighting settings, everything kind of works the same way now. It's just with newer tools. So guys, again, thank you so very much for watching. We're going to call it a night, and I hope to see you next time. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Will. I make tutorials on Unreal Engine 5. Go give me a follow. Because, I make tutorials every single week, and I'm always open to, suggestions to the topics you want me to cover. So go check out the channel, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining.